All right, Ryder and Mark, thank you guys both very much for getting up here and talking. It's probably not a favorite thing for any of us to do. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. It is greatly appreciated. When I first considered taking this on, it didn't take me very long to realize I wouldn't be able to do this all on my own. I've been very blessed with a wonderful family, great friends, as well as a strong faith in my Lord that will help guide me in all my endeavors. Tonight is the very beginning of a long and tough battle, one that I don't take lightly. The office of the Albany County Sheriff should be occupied by a seasoned professional with real law enforcement experience. Someone that has a vested interest in providing professional policing services in Albany County. The current appointment is a result of political agenda rather than adequate due process to select the most qualified candidate. I have no intention of dwelling on the current status of our county sheriff's office. I would rather focus my efforts on a resolution. I know most of, if not all of you in this room tonight, some better than others. Though I'm sure there's varying opinions of me, all good of course. I think it can be said consistently that I'm not a politician. I have no personal agenda and no intention of promising anything I cannot deliver. I'm far less concerned with my own agenda and more so focused on protecting your rights. Elected officials should be available to their constituents. I intend on having open ears rather than an open mouth. False leaders have intentions of dividing us. I believe we must come together. I think we can all agree we clearly don't need any more politicians. In fact, I would caution you to be leery of those who seek title and authority. What we need is more good men and women to stand up and get involved. I, like most of you, had very little desire to get involved with the political zoo that occupies Albany County, but I feel called to do what I can. I can promise you that I will lead with integrity and compassion, and that's why I'm standing in front of you tonight. I've been very privileged with the opportunity to serve the citizens of both Laramie and the state of Wyoming as a peace officer. I really don't like to talk about myself, but I feel it's important that you know some of my qualifications for this position before I ask for your support. I grew up in a very modest home with my father in Saratoga. He was a ranch hand and later grew a construction business. I was cheap labor. I initially moved to Laramie to attend the university in 1998. I was employed as a utility operator with Mountain Cement when I first decided to pursue a career in law enforcement. I always knew that I wanted to be in a profession that would allow me to protect the innocent and help where I could. I was hired by the Laramie Police Department in September of 2001. On my second day as a cop, 9/11 occurred. Watching that unfold showed me exactly what greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, looks like in real life, and put the remainder of my career into context. During my 19 years of service with the LPD, I served in the capacity as a patrol officer, a school resource officer, a child abuse investigations instructor, a firearms instructor, a field training officer, and a special response team member, where I was later voted by my fellow team members to serve as a team leader. The most valuable experience I gained was in the investigations division, where I served in the capacity as a detective for my last 9 years. It was there that I was really able to grow, not only as an investigator and a leader, but as a person. The work was challenging and often frustrating, but the impacts were huge. This is where I became aware of the dark, ugly, and evil that exists in our world. It is said that all that is needed for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That statement could not be more true. I know I've stared evil in the eye. During my time in investigations, I was awarded with the VFW Post 14 District 6 Lawman of the Year, the Department of Criminal Investigations Internet Crimes Against Children Commendation for the Protection of Children, and I had a successful investigation and assisted in the prosecution of a child sex abuse case, which resulted in a Wyoming Supreme Court decision on behalf of juvenile victims. I'm a strong advocate for the rights of victims and holding prosecutors responsible. I have a firm belief that the only way to provide victims with adequate protection is by providing adequately trained law enforcement capable of handling various investigations and situations. My experience working cold cases has shown me the consequences of inappropriate handling of investigations and what a disservice it is not only to the victims and their families, but also to the community where the crime takes place. On the board in the back of the room, there's a small sampling of cases I've worked, many of which you probably never heard about because the current climate doesn't want to acknowledge that evil exists. You see, acknowledging the evil requires people to acknowledge the need of good men and women to fill the gap. In my capacity as a detective, I was also responsible for background investigations of peace officer applicants. I know just how extensive a background investigation should be, and more importantly, I understand the consequences of hiring someone not fit for the job. If elected, hiring of the most qualified candidates is a priority. I started as a criminal investigator with the Wyoming Livestock Board in September of 2020. This position has helped me understand the needs of our stock growers as it relates to law enforcement. In fact, in February of 2021, I approached the currently appointed sheriff with an MOU and an offer to provide livestock investigation training to himself and his deputies. The sheriff did not attend the training, and the MOU, which would have provided funding for his deputies' related overtime pay, seems to be lost on his desk somewhere. As one of two livestock investigators with the board, sharing a jurisdiction of about 98,000 square miles, I understand the importance of providing services to rural areas and management of resources. Most people don't understand the authority given to the position of sheriff. The sheriff is your most important ally in securing your rights. The sheriff is a constitutionally elected official of the people, whereas police chiefs and all other law enforcement are at-will employees of the city or state and carry out their directives. The county sheriff, being duly elected, has the power to deny enforcement of any federal, state, or local laws that do not secure your rights. I urge you to take this into consideration. Can we really afford to have someone we can't trust in this position? We like to talk about freedom and rights, and that is good. We should be defending our freedoms and our rights, but there's another half of that conversation we should be having, one of duty and responsibility. With that, our freedom and our rights are in peril. Duty and responsibility is what has me standing in front of you tonight. It would be much easier and more comfortable for me to choose to turn a blind eye and only worry about myself and my family. However, I know that I can make things better, not only for the sheriff's office, but also for you, the citizens of Albany County. I know that I can rebuild the sheriff's office, and I also know that I have the fortitude to protect your rights. I'm willing to take that on as my duty and responsibility. Please consider what your duty and responsibility may be. I know that it's been a rough couple of years. If we do nothing, it's only going to get worse. We have all seen things in Albany County that we expect in larger urban areas. We've been affected by government overreach, which has ultimately restricted our abilities to conduct business and our rights as citizens. Some of you may feel frustrated and alone. I assure you, you're not alone. We can achieve great things, but first we must come together. I take this pledge now. If elected, I will be the guardian of the Constitution for you, no matter your political party. I will not stand by as our individual rights and freedoms are trampled, either by criminals or an overreaching government. I'm asking for your support, however you can give it. And again, I genuinely appreciate each of you taking the time to be here. I'll plan on making myself available for one-on-one discussions should you have any questions. Thank you.